All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. This isn't going to be a long workshop. It's just going to be basically a walkthrough on how to just clean things up a little bit in your Canvas environment and show how you can maybe streamline the process a little bit on your module area, just to kind of help make things a little cleaner than what they are right now for you. All right, so for those of you who don't know, my name is Jimmy Williams. I'm an instructional technology admin, which is just a fancy way of saying that I am a Canvas slash D2L admin, along with Lauren Neal here, who's going to monitor the chat for us. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to jump in the chat and ask any questions that you have. If there's something that she feels needs to be brought up to the group, then we will go ahead and do that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen. All right. So when you first log into your standard Canvas class, what you're going to see is your module area, which is not typically what we've seen in the past with D2L. It's always been that it has the home page. And if you don't have any content modules or any modules period in your course yet, then it's just going to be blank. You're going to see a symbol in there, like a triangle symbol. But what we're going to do is to show you how to first set a home page. So the easiest way to do this is if you go to your Commons area. And that was the little link over here on the side that says, you know, import from Commons. And we have a lot of different options here for various home pages that you can create or that you can choose. So if you want to see what each one of them looks like, we're not going to go through all of them, but just give you a little sneak peek. Is if you click on each one, you'll see various options for these home pages. Me personally, I like this home page. Gives you a nice MTSU title banner. You can put the title of your course here, welcome to the class, and then you have standard navigation down here. Okay, so the way that you would do that is you would go to, if you like this one or whichever one you like, if you go to import/download, you can see all the courses that you have access to. If you search for your course, you can find it here. Okay, so the reason that I'm specifically pointing that out, that you search for the class, because you do have the option to select all classes. Now, these are only the classes that you have access to, but be forewarned that if you do choose that, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it will go into all of your classes. Okay, so if you select the one that you want, so we're going to select the training course. I'm going to come down here and import into course. You'll see here at the top, it says you have successfully started the import. Now, it varies. Sometimes it's almost immediate. Sometimes it takes up to 3 to 5 minutes for it to import over. It all depends on what's going on in Canvas at the time. So we're going to come back over to your dashboard. We're going to go back to my training course. So this is what you see, like I said, when you first come into Canvas. And once you've downloaded that or imported into your course, we're going to go to choose homepage. Now this option here will be grayed out before you import it. But now that it has been imported, you can select it and hit save. And now you have a training course homepage here. So if you want to edit this, say you want to put your title, your class here, or you want to go in and do your welcome message here, what you would do is go to edit. And you can add your little note here if you'd like. Welcome to the class. My name is, and you have your navigation here as well. So once we have that, we're going to go ahead and hit save. And you'll see that changed, and then you can change anything here. You have start here, course content, support resources, announcements, instructor information, and course schedule. Now, we're not going to get too far into the weeds on, we're going to create a page that's going to have your instructor information. That's something else that you can come to or ask questions about. If you look at the upcoming training starting tomorrow, there are a lot of trainings that are available that are going to be held online and over in the library if you're interested. But just a real quick thing. So if you want to go to course content, by default, this is going to take you here to your content area, which is where the original course home is going to stay. Okay. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. I wanted you all to see that you don't just, you want to make it cleaner. You want to have it more of like a splash page, something that you're more familiar with, like it was in D2L. Now, keep in mind, obviously, you are well aware that Canvas is not D2L. But if you want to have something that kind of mimics or what you're used to seeing, what your students are used to seeing, this is an option for you. Okay, so it's not mandatory that you add a homepage, but we just wanted to give you that option. Now, something else that, and Lauren, feel free if there's anything that you want me to bring up or you know any questions because I don't have the chat pulled up. Feel free to say something. All right. So something else that I want to point out, and something that I get a lot of questions, or we as admins get a lot of questions about, is why are there so many links over here on the left? I don't use any of these. What do these eyeballs mean? So an easy way to see exactly what it is your students are going to be able to see is by clicking View a Student. This is what your students would see right now. Now, we suggest that you don't have all of these here because you're not going to need all of them. Now, just because you remove them from here, and I'll walk you through the process in just a second, just because you remove these from here does not mean that you won't be able to use them or see them. If you'll notice down here, you have all of these with the eyeball with a line through it. That means your students can't see them. Now, by default, files and pages are both listed up here. We suggest, or recommend rather, that the only things that you have here are your home button, which is static. You can't remove that even if you wanted to, but maybe announcements, modules, grades. And if you use Zoom or the Microsoft Education, which is the Teams integration, have those listed there. And any of the integrations that you want students to access from this area as opposed to your assignments area. Okay. So what I mean by that is if you use Pearson, McGraw-Hill, Cengage, or any of the other many integrations that we have, if you want your students to access that from this area, you can link that there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to change this area. So from the left-hand navigation, we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to where settings is. We're going to click on settings, and we're going to choose navigation. This allows you to change the order of where you want things to be. Just like in D2L where you could grab and move things where you want, same thing here. Okay, so I know that I'm not going to want item banks. And you know what? I'm not going to use Teams this semester. Studio is already listed over here on the left, so we don't need that. That's just redundant. Syllabus is a tool within Canvas that will kind of all of your assignments, you can have them automatically put into your syllabus tool by use of due dates. Let's say I'm not going to use this. Course analytics, I don't need that up here because students aren't going to access that anyways. I'm not going to want them to access quizzes from my menu over here. I only want them to access it in your content area. So much like it was in the past, if you've ever taken any trainings with me or talked to me on the phone, I would have told you that your content area needs to be a one-stop shop. That does a lot of things. Number one, it makes it to where you never have to hear the excuse of, well, I didn't know I was supposed to do it. If you have it in your content area to where they don't have to click on any links over here, it's always right there. You will never have to use that excuse. All right, so Zoom, you know what? I'm going to leave that because I want my students to access my meeting links. I'm going to move accessibility down here. I'm going to leave my grades. I'm going to leave my modules. But people, no, I don't really need that up there. Panopto video, no, you know what? I'm not really going to worry about that. So I just left it with home, announcement, modules, grades, and Zoom. So after you do this, a lot of things in D2L were auto-saved. That's not the same in Canvas. So you're always going to want to make sure that you're going to need to save things. Now, some things don't require that, but usually we'll give you a message that says, the changes were saved, but always look for that save button just in case. So now that we have our navigation over here, you see all the eyeballs with the lines through it. We're going to come back to the home area and we're going to view as the student. Now, this to me looks a lot cleaner. Your announcements are listed right here, and they'll show up for your students just like the news items that we had on D2L. But it just looks a lot cleaner to me like this. There's not really any confusion where students don't know where they need to click. It just allows them to get exactly where they need to be when they want to be there. All right, so I'm just going to check the chat real quick and see if there's anything that has come up. Okay. I saw a lot of questions in there, or what I thought were questions, but in reality, it was just everybody introducing themselves. So, hello. All right, so now that we've kind of gotten through that, let's get into the modules area. Because quite honestly, this is where you're going to spend the majority of your time kind of getting all of your modules set up. Okay. So now, actually, you know what? Strike that. Before we do that, I want to go over one more option. We're going to go back to import from Commons. So if you are starting with a brand new class that you are building from the ground up, that you are not going to import content in from D2L or from another class within Canvas, we also have the MTSU course template. So if you click on that, it's going to show you, this is the content area. Okay, so it just shows you a content structure. It will also include, an assignment, some pages, and it will include a home page for you. So you also have the ability to import this in. Now you could import this in on top of material that you already have in your class. It won't delete your content that you currently have, but it will add every single one of these modules and pieces of content to the bottom of your content area that you currently have. So just be forewarned that if you do import this template, there are going to be some extra discussions, another assignment, another quiz in your class. So if you don't want that, I'd suggest building it from scratch because it's pretty easy. But you would do the same process. You would go to import, download. You would search for your course, choose the training course, and we would go to import into this course. Now, I'm not going to do that right now, but it's the same process that I showed you earlier. So it's not a difficult thing, and that's the same with any Canvas resource that you have within the Commons area. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and go into modules. Now, by default, all of these modules are open when you start. Now, this is from the template, and that's why I wanted to show you what the template was. This is just basically blank content for right now, but it's perfect for our needs because I can show you some different things within it. So the instructor module, when you first get into Canvas and your students are going to see the same thing, by default, every single one of these modules is open. Now you can close them just by minimizing it by clicking the little caret, and your students can do the same thing. All right, so let's start here. A couple things that I just want to make sure, because we don't have a whole lot of time, but I do want to make sure you understand that you can choose to publish or not publish anything you want. So right now, all of these pieces of content are published, but the module itself is not, which means that your students can't see this, which is perfect because in this case, this is an instructor module. We don't want them to see this. This is just information for you or your TAs or anyone else that has instructor level access in your course so that they can see this. But something that I wanted to point out real quick is that if you notice here, we have complete all items. What that means is that your students will get a check mark next to anything that they have viewed. So the way that you can add that, let's do it up here. The way that we can do that is if we edit that module, let me close that because I think I went a little quick. These three dots over here on the right, so you click that and go to edit. You can choose requirements. Now, requirements, when you click on that, you have students must move through the requirements in sequential order. You can choose that if you want. If you want to make sure that they access each thing individually in order, you can choose that. Or you can just leave it as you want them to view everything in here. So if you notice here, it automatically adds content template introduction. Notice that is the first piece of content because this is just a header, and I'll show you that in just a second. But if you want them to access everything in here, and notice it's set to view item, but if you click on that, it gives you option that they can choose to mark as done. Now, the reason that that's important is that if they're working on something, if there's something in there that you really want them to kind of really go through, if you choose mark as done, the student literally has to check a button on the bottom of the page that says mark as done, meaning that they are done with that piece of content and can move on. If you have just as view the item, if they access it once, they're going to get a check mark on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, the way that you do the rest of this is if you want them to access everything in here, we're just going to click on requirement, and that adds the next piece. So literally, you can just choose everything in there. And when you get to the bottom piece of that content, notice there's no more requirement button there. All right, so we're going to hit save. And now we have complete all items, but they're not marked as done. It's just complete all items. Okay, any questions on this so far?
Yeah, can you repeat that real quick? When you go to content, what do you do?
All right, so when we're in modules, on the
Right.
right-hand side of the screen, on the header up here for the module itself, the little gray module header,
Yeah, got that.
we're going to click the three dots,
Uh-huh.
choose edit,
Edit.
and let me go ahead and just remove these real quick because these are the requirements we have. So we're going to choose, right now, there's nothing there. So if you look at this module, if I hit refresh on the page, I don't think I saved it. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So remove these, save. Now there's nothing there. Okay. So we're going to go to edit.
Hmm.
We're going to click on requirement. I'm not going to make sure, I'm not going to require that they move sequentially in order. All right.
Hmm.
So the first thing that comes up when you hit requirement is this first piece of content here, template introduction. So if I want to have to where they have a check mark next to everything, I'm going to hit requirement down here. That's just the next one, how to customize. And you can just go through really quickly and just click that button, plus
Okay.
requirement, and it adds all of them. So once you do that, just hit save, and now we have complete all items. Okay.
Okay, I think I got it.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about beautifying your content
Okay.
area. So by default, like I said, everything is just in a straight line here, but you'll notice that this is not a link. This is just text. And what's great about this is that if you wanted to have something, let's say here, and I want to have a course overview title here at the top, maybe kind of give a little bit of information, make sure you look at the course overview for this module. We're going to click here, actually strike that. We're going to hit the plus button, and this will give you an option of what you want to add to your content. This is how you would add your quizzes or your discussions or the assignments that you have here. Keep in mind that in Canvas, they're called assignments, but in D2L, they were called drop boxes. Okay, so there is a difference there. All right, so we're going to hit this drop down and we're going to choose text header. And we just make sure to take a look at the overview. So we're going to add item. Now that adds it to the bottom the same way it did in D2L, but we can just grab this and drag it to the top. And now you have a tiny description. The reason that I said tiny, because that is important to understand, is that while you can put a very brief description here, this is not an area for you to have the instructions. So we don't want to see a paragraph here. What we're looking for is just a brief, whether it be a header or whether it be just make sure to look at the overview, and that's what you have here. Okay. But it is a nice little way to have text. Now, say that you wanted a space in between overview and instructor or about your instructor. You can do that also with a text header. And the only way that you do it is, or the way that you do it is you create a text header, just don't put anything in it and hit add. Now you can have a space. You can always create another module and title it however you want. But if it's everything is under the start here, but you just want to separate things a little bit, just add that little text header with nothing in it. It just adds a tiny little space. Now, something else that's nice about the content area is that you can choose to indent because in D2L you had submodules. Canvas doesn't have submodules, but there are ways to indicate that things belong to certain things. So let's say course overview, let's say about your instructor that you want to indent that. I believe there are 3 levels of the indentation. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, there are 5. There are 5 levels to the indent. And if you get a little overzealous, like, you know what, I don't want that much. Let me back it up. You can choose to do that. So let's say here, these are the assessments. You have the discussion and the assignment, and you want to indicate that, you know what, I want to make sure that the students understand that these are assignments that I want them to do. So we're going to come up here. We're going to go to, oops, strike that. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. So hit the plus, text header, and we're going to say module 1 assignments. I'm going to put that right here. And you know what? I'm going to indent these a little bit to make sure that the students understand that, hey, this is something that's different than the rest of the stuff. And we're going to decrease that. Okay, and if you want it to look a little different, like I said, you can add more of an indent there. Um, so that's not, I mean, it's very easy to kind of set that to where how you want it to be. So are there any questions about the setting up of your modules, adding a home page, changing your navigation?
Jimmy, I missed the very beginning. Will you show again how to do the homepage if there aren't any more questions?
Yeah, hold on just 1 second. So all right, someone asked a question there at the bottom. Thank you. So are we to use first day access, uh, nav app, or the access Pearson? That is a good question. You're going to have to ask Pearson on that because I know that I had to provide some numbers for them to use. Pearson is one that is involved in the first day access, but they have said that they're going to allow for the use of the textbooks within their integration that's already in the system. I know I did build the first day access integration a couple of days ago. So that is in the system, but you'll have to check with Pearson to see which integration you should use because they don't tell us.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was confused about because I've been using the Access Pearson,
Hmm.
and didn't that apparently was just added today, so it I wasn't sure. So I guess I'll talk to Alexis and find out. Uh,
Yeah, I believe that Pearson is one that is they're you're going to be able to access the book within their integration within Access Pearson. Um, but I did turn on the access. I'm sorry, the first day access today. I built it last week sometime because they finally gave me the ability to do that. But yes, I would check with Pearson just to verify.
okay. And the other question I had is The Cengage Advantage app, I know I can find it in the modules under the where you add it to the
Hmm.
module with the deep links, but it was in the navigation app along with Access Pearson. It went away in February and it hasn't come back. Didn't know if that was where it went or
Well,
I
do me a
know.
favor. If you contact me after this is over,
Okay.
we can go through some options here.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. All right. And someone was asking about how to choose a home page. All right. So the way that you do that is if you go to import from Commons, so you're going to be on your home page, go to import from Commons, and you have the options for the home pages that we have created for you. Now, keep in mind, now, yes, you do have templates here you can choose. You can build your own home pages however you want them to be, well, within reason. I wouldn't have a bunch of animations and stuff like that on there, but you can build your own homepage by going to pages and setting it up however you'd like. But all right, so let's choose option 3
Okay.
and say this is the one that you decide that, you know what, I love it. I need it. I want my class to look exactly like this. We're going to go to import/download. You're going to search for your class. And by default, all of the classes that you have access to are going to be listed right here. But one thing that is important that you need to understand, there will be no indication which semester is which. There won't be CRNs listed out to the next of it or out to the side of it. So just keep that in mind. All right, so for this course, it's the Jimmy training course. And I'm going to come down here to the bottom and say import into course. So you should get this little green message that says you have successfully started the import.
Okay.
And now we're going to go back to your class. So go to your dashboard. Here's
Okay.
your course. So once you're back on your home page, we're going to click on, over here on the right-hand side where it says choose home page. Now this one's already selected, so let's see if the other one is here yet. Okay, there we go.
Hang on. Pages.
Well, so yes, it's pages, but that's not the part that's really important. So when you click on choose home page, what you're going to see is now you will see that this is an option for you to choose. If you only grab that one, I'm sorry, I kind of went in my own little way there, but if you only downloaded that one homepage, then this, whereas before you downloaded it was grayed out, will now be available for you to choose. So you just select that radio button.
Okay. I got lost when you got to choose homepage.
Okay, so when you click on choose homepage, this is the interface you're
Yeah,
going to see
that's what I can't find. How do I get there? Choose homepage.
right here
Oh.
on
Okay,
your
so I'm in
homepage.
home.
Hmm.
Oh, I see. Silly
Yeah.
me. Okay.
All right.
I got
So what you'll see is once you've downloaded it, this will now be an option for you to
it. Okay.
choose. If, say, for example, that you downloaded a homepage, you're like, you know what, I don't like that one, I want the other one, and you downloaded the other one, you would come here and hit change. This brings you to all the pages that are in your class. This is where your home pages are going to live. Any of the pages that you create in your course are going to live under the Pages tab or link. So on that one, we chose the homepage for uh, the option 3 for icons. And we're going to go back to home. Whoops. Oh, excuse me. Now, once you select it, being that we already set this one as the home page, we're going to have to 3 buttons over here on the right. Why is it not letting me?
Publish it.
Ah, thank you. Okay. So Lauren pointed out something very important that I forgot about. This publish button, and this is something that Helen, our trainer, has said many, many times. In Canvas, always publish the thing. If it's not published, it's not going to allow you to choose it. So once you publish it, it allows you to choose use as front page. So we're going to select that. Now we're going to go back to the home screen. And now the home page is different. It's now the one that we chose, the option 3. So we are out of time, but I will try to answer any questions I can for you.
Jimmy,
Yes.
first, I want to say to you and your team, y'all are great. So helpful.
Well, thank you.
Oh, no, I'm sincere with that. I just absolutely great. Second, if I choose if I've built a course, I've put some stuff in a course already, and I choose a home page, does it delete what I've already put in the course?
Oh, not at all. No,
Okay,
no,
just
no,
asking,
no,
sir. Yes.
no, 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 no. It 100% does not delete anything. So basically, when you're in your course, and so you know what? I think I maybe stop sharing preemptively. So stand by. Now, if any of you want to leave after this, I mean, because I don't have a meeting directly after this, so I can stay on a few minutes and kind of show some things. So by default, this is what you're going to see when you first come into Canvas. If you've imported something in or the K16 import, there is no homepage associated with it. So it just shows all of your content, right? So when you go to choose a homepage, after you go through the process of downloading something and like, okay, I like option 3, this is now going to be available for you. So we're going to choose this one and hit save. So it changes your homepage, but all of your content is still under modules. Nothing was deleted.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Talking about a revolt if that had happened.
So, Jimmy, does it automatically, when you choose option 3, it automatically integrates the announcements there?
So the announcements, the content, yes, it does. So on this one, there's not an announcements button.
Oh,
Now, are you talking about here at the top, or are you talking about a button down here?
oh, well, I guess I saw it there at the top.
Yes. So let's see. Edit. Trying to remember.
But I guess mostly my question is, do those buttons down at the bottom, if you choose that homepage, those buttons will automatically link to the
Not
place that you're
necessarily.
linking? Oh, great.
The course content will. Start here is going to
Okay.
have to be something that you decide.
Ah,
Support resources. Now, we will have something available that's just basically a page that you can copy and paste that will have links and things like that for any kind of support. Now, something also, and this is something I typically will say in most of the things that I do anyways. Over here on the right, on the left-hand side, you should see this little help button down here. It's hidden by this,
mhm.
but this little help button right here opens up this little side thing. You have chat with Canvas support for students, faculty, and then you have a hotline. This chat and this hotline are both 24/7. So if you're working on something at midnight and you don't have access to us because we're all asleep happily, you can access this chat and it is very good. It is a person, it's not AI. So they can help you through anything that you want to. But as far as linking things, um, let's do this. So we edited this homepage, right? We're going to go to instructor information. We're going to click this button up here, this little chain link, which was the same icon that we had in D12 for adding a link. And we're first going to remove the link because that just makes it easier. And now we're going to go to course link. Now, instructor information is going to be a page. And I don't think that there is an instructor page in here yet, but that's not difficult to do as far as adding something. So let's get out of this. And if we come over here on the left-hand side, we're going to choose pages. We're going to click on view all pages. And let's just create a page and we're going to call it instructor information. So in here, outside of that, you can have, a picture of yourself, how you want to be contacted, office hours and how those are handled, whether they be online or in person. Maybe a little bit of information about yourself, all of that information you can list here. And we're going to hit save and publish. Remember, publish is important. And now what we're going to do is go back to the home page. We're going to edit it again.
This is the laptop. No, if you could just wipe everything here. Like, no, just no.
Okay.
Take care of it. Yeah, thank you so much.
So what we're going to do is come down and we're going to select the instructor information. We're going to click on the link. We're going to choose course link. So I guess there was an instructor page, wasn't there? Look at that. I got a little overly zealous. So you have instructor information, but then you also have about your instructor. So we're going to choose that. And now, once we do that, we're just going to scroll down and hit save. Whoops, not the start here. That takes you to the modules. Let's go to instructor information. Okay, so there was already a page there. So it actually works out well. I missed it when I was looking through them really quickly. So you can put your image here, type out your information, contact information, anything like that. If you want to edit this page, just click this edit button here. You can insert your picture, change the text, anything you want to. Make sense? I know it's a lot of information, it's a lot of change. Trust me, we're feeling it on our side too. We're trying to make sure that everybody has as much information as they want. Unfortunately, when you get into this, it really is kind of drinking through a fire hose. I know there's a lot to change, but I mean, we're here as far as resources are concerned. You have the help button on the left-hand side. So are there any other questions?
Is there a quick and easy way to contact you guys?
Uh, so you do have the email address that is canvas@mtsu.edu or
Mm-hmm.
canvas.com. No, canvas@mtsu.edu. That is the email address for us. You also have the old ways of ITDA CAD. You can put in a ticket. For the time being, I am still manning the phones, but I've been pulled into another project with the Oracle. So I may not be able to answer the phone as readily as I used to be. So if I don't answer you, trust me, it's not that I'm just ignoring you. It's that I am probably in another meeting at the time, but we're still here for you. You can still shoot us an email, and we'll get back to you as fast as we can.
And the Canvas at MTSU is probably the best way to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if I wanted to get a couple more sandbox, because I'm just trying to transfer D2L stuff, how do I get more sandbox pages?
So there is, if you put in a ticket for it and request the sandboxes, they'll do that.
Will you remind me how to do that?
So it's ServiceNow at mtsu.edu, I believe.
Okay.
And put a ticket in there. Or if you send an email to the canvas@mtsu.edu,
Okay.
either they will respond with, put in a ticket, here's the link, or they'll go ahead and do it for you. But
But
I do know,
ServiceNow does that?
yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
That's it. We kept you too long, Jimmy. Thank you.
I'm happy to help. I know there's a lot of change going on, and also I will keep this in mind. We have a lot of training going on this week, a lot, and that's for me to say a lot. It's a lot. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. of Canvas training, both on campus and on Zoom. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I don't know if they posted the link on how to access the training, how you can sign up for it. Thank you very much. So you can see the schedule that's coming up over the next few days. Definitely, I would encourage you that if you're still, I wouldn't even say struggling, if you are still working on your classes, on trying to understand Canvas better, I strongly encourage you to come to those, whether it be, like I said, whether it be in person. I will be in person over in the library in 264A, I believe. But we also have the Zoom option as well for those of you who can't make it up to campus or just don't want to, which I understand.
Hey, Jimmy, one last question. Is
Sure.
there any way to change the titles as they appear on your dashboard?
You can. Hold on just a second. Again, I think I preemptively stopped sharing my screen, but I can't see all your pictures, so I'm trying to. All right, so let's go back to your dashboard.
Okay.
All right, so this is what we're looking for. We're going to click on this. You can
Mhm.
nickname whatever you
Okay.
want.
Okay.
This is awesome, but this only applies to you. This does not change the name for the students, but it is an easy way for you to see which class you need to access. Now, you can also clean this area up if you come over to your courses area, and we're going to go to all courses. Anything that you want to show at the top of your screen, just hit the star and they'll show up. The rest of them will no longer be there. Now, they'll still be in your courses area.
Okay. That's a great tip. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, any other questions?
Oh, I'm sure we'll have 1,000 later on.
I typed one in the chat about the trainings that take place this week. Now,
Yes.
is this kind of like a one-on-one? We have questions while we're working on things, or is this like the training starts with step one at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and then moves forward?
So, both. It won't be a one-on-one in that we're going to sit down next to you for an hour. But if you are working along with what's going on the screen, so it is going to be a start from here, like an intro, and then the modules and the quizzes and discussions and assignments and your grades. So if you were here back in the day, and it was back in the day at this point, that I did the boot camps over in telecom, where it was the same type of thing, like here's an intro to D2L, here's one about quizzes, here's one's about grades. It's set up like that. But we will have people manning that area so that we can go around and answer questions. So if you're following along and like, you know what, I missed what they just said, now I'm lost. So if you raise your hand, we'll come over and help. That type thing, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I can't be there all week, obviously.
Mhm.
But I just want to make sure that my classes are ready to go
Yeah,
before.
no,
Okay.
I completely get it. All right, well, everyone, thank you very much for coming. Hopefully you got something out of this. To beautify your class or to make things more simple and navigable for your students is actually a really easy process in Canvas. So hopefully this helps and kind of puts things at ease a little bit for you, because trust me, I am very well aware that the transition into a new LMS is not easy. Now, I'll tell you just from my experience from the admin side, it's been a journey learning all of this, because I was a D2L admin and have been for 12 years. So learning this new system took some time for me also, but it, it's it's a good LMS. It just takes some time to get used to. So thanks again, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day,